The knocking started a little after midnight. Not the polite kind of knock someone gives during the day, but the desperate,
Get
uneven
inside.
pounding of
Quick.
someone
They're
who
right
had run out of
behind us.
options.
I know. Go.
It echoed through the small, quiet house like a warning from the night itself. Inside, Daniel froze in the kitchen, a half-washed cup still in his hand, while his 5-year-old daughter Lily slept peacefully in the next room. For a moment he wondered if he had imagined it, but then it came again. Harder this time, urgent, almost shaking the door from its frame. When Daniel finally opened the door, the sight on the porch stopped his heart. Standing under the dim yellow light was Maya, his best friend's wife, trembling, pale, and barely able to stand. Her voice cracked as tears streamed down her face. She whispered the words that would change all their lives forever. She couldn't go back there. Before we continue this emotional story, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Lonely Dad Strong Heart. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet strength of people who refuse to give up on others. Daniel had not expected to see Maya that night, or ever in a situation like this. He had known her for years through his best friend Mark. Back when life had been normal, the four of them would sit in Daniel's backyard on warm evenings, laughing while their kids played with bubbles and chalk on the pavement. But life had changed in cruel ways. 2 years earlier Daniel had lost his wife Sarah in a sudden accident, and since then his world had shrunk to a small routine centered entirely around raising Lily alone. His days were filled with packing lunches, wiping tears, reading bedtime stories, and trying to be both father and mother to a little girl who still sometimes asked when mommy would come home. Daniel had grown stronger through the pain, but the house still carried the quiet loneliness of a man who had rebuilt his life piece by piece. And now, standing on his doorstep in the cold darkness, Maya looked like someone whose life had completely shattered. Her hair was messy, her jacket hung loosely around her shoulders, and the fear in her eyes was impossible to ignore. She looked over her shoulder more than once, as if she expected someone to appear from the shadows and drag her away. Daniel didn't ask questions right away. He simply stepped aside and let her come in. The warmth of the house seemed to break something inside her. She sank into a chair and buried her face in her hands, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. Daniel quietly poured her a glass of water and sat across from her, his mind racing. He knew Mark had been stressed lately. Work problems, financial pressure, small cracks in a marriage that used to seem solid. But Daniel had never imagined things could reach this point. It took a long time before Maya could even speak. When she finally did, her voice carried the exhaustion of someone who had been fighting a battle alone for far too long. She didn't go into every detail, but she didn't need to. The bruises hidden beneath her sleeves told enough of the story. Things had started small months ago. Arguments that turned into shouting. Doors slamming. Harsh words that left invisible scars. Then one night Mark had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. And once that line was crossed, it became easier for it to happen again. Maya had tried to hold the marriage together. She told herself Mark was just stressed. That he didn't mean it. That things would go back to normal. But deep down she knew the truth. The man she married had slowly become someone else, someone she no longer recognized. Tonight had been the worst night yet. When Mark's anger exploded again, Maya realized something terrifying. If she stayed, she might lose herself completely, or worse. So she ran. She didn't know where to go. Her parents lived far away. Her friends were connected to Mark. The only place her heart could think of was Daniel's house, the one place that had always felt safe. Daniel listened quietly, feeling a heavy knot forming in his chest. Mark had been like a brother to him. They had helped each other through tough times, celebrated birthdays, and shared countless memories. But sitting across from Maya now, seeing the fear in her eyes, Daniel knew something important. Some lines in life cannot be defended, even for a friend. That night Maya slept on the couch while Daniel stayed awake at the kitchen table, staring at the soft glow of the lamp. His thoughts were tangled with confusion, anger, and responsibility. If he helped Maya, it would mean standing against his best friend. It might destroy the last friendship from his old life. But if he turned her away, he would never forgive himself. In the quiet of the night, Daniel made his choice. The next morning Lily padded into the living room with sleepy eyes and messy hair. When she saw Maya sitting quietly by the window, she tilted her head in curiosity. Daniel gently explained that Maya would be staying with them for a while. Children have a special way of seeing people without judgment. Lily simply smiled, walked over, and handed Maya her favorite stuffed rabbit. The small gesture broke Maya's heart and healed it at the same time. Days slowly turned into weeks. Maya found safety inside Daniel's modest home, helping with cooking, cleaning, and caring for Lily while she searched for work and figured out how to rebuild her life. The house that once felt painfully quiet slowly filled with laughter again. Daniel noticed the change in Lily too. The little girl who once felt the absence of her mother now had someone gentle and patient who braided her hair, read her stories, and sat beside her during cartoons. For the first time in a long time, the house felt warm again. But peace never comes without challenges. One evening Mark showed up. His car pulled into the driveway just as the sun was setting. Daniel saw him through the window and felt a wave of tension crash through his chest. Mark stepped out of the car looking tired, older than Daniel remembered. When he knocked on the door, the past and the present collided in one painful moment. Mark wasn't angry like Maya feared. Instead, he looked broken. He admitted that he had lost control of his life, that his anger had destroyed the person he loved most. He asked if Maya would come back, promised he would change. Maya listened quietly from behind Daniel. But sometimes apologies arrive too late. The trust that once held their marriage together had already shattered. Maya knew that returning would mean returning to fear. So she shook her head. Mark left that night with tears in his eyes, the weight of his choices finally catching up to him. Life continued moving forward after that. Maya eventually found a job at a small bookstore in town. Daniel continued working long hours to support Lily, but now he had someone beside him who understood the silent struggles of rebuilding a life after heartbreak. Their bond grew slowly, carefully, like two wounded souls learning how to trust again. It wasn't sudden love, it was something deeper. Respect, understanding, quiet support. They had both seen the darkest parts of life, and instead of turning away, they had chosen to help each other stand again. One evening months later, Daniel watched Lily laughing in the yard while Maya chased her with a bubble wand. The sunset painted the sky orange and gold, and the sound of Lily's laughter filled the air. Daniel realized something powerful in that moment. Families are not always formed the way we expect. Sometimes they are built from kindness, courage, and the simple decision to open the door when someone knocks in the middle of the night. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Lonely Dad's Strong Heart. Stories like this remind us that even in the darkest moments, compassion can change someone's entire life. And before the story ends, I have a special request for you. Please comment the word hope below if you believe that kindness and second chances can still exist in this world. Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness, like opening a door at midnight, can become the beginning of someone's new life. And in Daniel's quiet home, where loneliness once lived, the light of hope had finally returned.